Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing certificates of entry, or perhaps the demise of the certificate of entry document as discussed in a recent article from ThaiVisa.com, and they are quoting various sources in here, but the article is titled Tourism Reopening, 4 Phases on the Cards, No Quarantine at All from October. A lot of information in this article. Again, tourism reopening, 4 phases on the cards, no quarantine at all from October. A lot going in. The phases and everything, we've discussed this on this channel. They're phasing in these sort of reduced restrictions to those who are looking to enter Thailand, especially for tourism purposes. But for purposes of this video, there was one specific thing that I thought was worth parsing out. Quoting directly, along with it, and that's this so-called sandbox initiative as part of this phase process. But along with it will be an end to the certificate of entry document that will be replaced by a vaccine certificate, perhaps the so-called quote-unquote vaccine passport. Quoting further, ThaiVisa notes this is all speculation based on Thai media sources at the Ministry of Tourism and Sports, and potential visitors to Thailand are advised to await official clarification, probably this Friday. So, and this was published on the 15th of March, 2021. So yeah, that is a good point. This is not promulgated regulatory structure at all. This is being discussed, albeit you do get kind of a feel for these things over time, and you know there's been a lot of exposure on this overall plan. But again, getting back to the point of this video, you know, certificates of entry came in as a result of the emergency decree, and they sprung up basically overnight. I think we were the first to be covering them. I think one of our videos on certificates of entry, where we actually showed a sample one, was like one of the first ones issued, at least out of the states, that was actually issued. So, I mean, we've been talking about this since basically they came about, since sort of their birth, if you will, or their spawning by the Thai immigration bureaucracy. But long story short, it does appear that they're going to they're phasing this out. So, you know, that sort of begs a lot of questions. Again, this is all speculation at the moment, but yeah, I've always viewed certificates of entry as temporary. Now, my thinking on it was the system looked a lot like what's called ESTA in the American immigration context, which is the electronic system for travel authorization. And it doesn't really, specifically, the certificate of entry doesn't have anything to do with one's vaccination history. It's just sort of a secondary document regarding entry to Thailand. Now, whether or not that may evolve remains to be seen, but it is sort of an extra, for lack of a better term, control mechanism on inbound foreign tourists as well as inbound Thai nationals. People just traveling into Thailand have to get this certificate of entry. But, you know, again, I sort of likened it to kind of a more rudimentary version, kind of an analog version, if you will, of ESTA. My thinking was it was going to evolve into sort of a digital platform you had to deal with every time you got a visa to Thailand, but it may end up evolving into something akin to this vaccine passport scheme. So we will keep you updated on this channel as the circumstances surrounding that progress.